Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so we're still continuing with our proportionality unit. So let's recap. On Tuesday, we started with finding the part, which involved multiplication. Yesterday, on Wednesday, we were finding the whole or the total, and that involved division. The last piece of this that we need to talk about is how to find the percent. So we're going back to multiplication. I'm going to go over some notes. I'm going to show you again 3 different ways on how to find the percent. Remember, those 3 different ways, whichever one you feel comfortable with, that's one you're going to want to use. If you don't like any of the ways that I show you, that's totally fine. If you have another way that is getting you the correct answer, go ahead and use it. I am not limiting you. I want you to feel comfortable with solving these types of problems and understanding how to do it, okay? So we're going to do some notes, then you're going to do some practice on your own, and then we will review tomorrow before you take your quiz. So let's get to it. Share my screen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with our notes for today. How to find the percent. Blank is what percent of blank. To find out what percent a part is of a whole, you must create a fraction by writing the part over the whole. Then dividing using Tae-Bo to get a decimal answer. Then you're going to change your decimal to a percent by using Dr. Pepper. Sounds like a lot of steps, but once I show you what we're doing, you'll realize that it's not that bad. So first of all, it says to create a fraction by writing the part over the whole, okay? Here's my part. It says 90 is what percent of 360? 90 is my part, 360 is my whole or my total. So I'm going to do 90 over 360, okay? Then it says divide using Tae-Bo to get a decimal, top in, bottom out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can simplify this before I move on. Both of these end with a 0, so that means I can divide by 10. So that knocks it down to 9 on the top, 36 on the bottom. Dividing by 10 is like knocking off a 0. This is a little bit more manageable, okay? I can probably even divide that even further. What goes into 9 and 36? Evenly. They actually both share a 9. 9 divided by 9 gives me 1. 36 divided by 9 gives me 4. I have knocked this down to a way simpler fraction. Now I'm going to use my Tae-Bo. Some of you, if you realize it's a benchmark fraction, you already know what this is as a decimal. But just in case you don't realize what it is, top in, bottom out. 4 will not go into 1. 4 will go into 10 2 times with 2 left over. 5 will go into 20. So now we have 0.25. We have our decimal, but remember, we're looking for a percent. So now we're going to use Dr. Pepper to change our decimal to a percent. So Dr. Pepper tells us to move 2 to the right. Here's my decimal, 1, 2. So my percent is 25%, okay? Now you might be like, Miss, you said we were multiplying. Well, when you move the decimal to the right, that is you multiplying times 100, okay? That's where the multiplication comes in. All right, let's look at using the percent bar, trying to solve for a percent. Marcus sold 15 out of 60 cars this month. What percent of the cars did he sell? Well, remember, when we're using the percent bar, here's our zeros. Our percents are always on the bottom, okay? We're looking for a percent, so I know whatever I'm looking for is going to be on the bottom. Let's see what we can fill in. 15 is my part, 60 is my whole. Remember, my whole or my total always goes above the 100. I'm going to say this is about 50%. I don't know what 15 represents yet. I have to figure that out, okay? But I'm going to put it over here. Now, I need to see if I can find a relationship to figure this out. If I look at 60 and 100, I don't see that I did anything to the 60 to get to 100, and I don't see that I did anything to 100 to get to 60. If I look at the 15 and the 60, I know that they're both divisible by 5, okay? So if I wanted to, I can try to simplify to a number that I can get to. If I divide by 5, 60 divided by 5 would give me 12. So 100 divided by 5 would get me 20. So 20% represents 12, but it's not 15. We need 15, right? Okay. The other way is if I divide it by 60. 60 divided by 60 is 1. Okay. But I can't divide the bottom by 60. So what I'm left with is I need to revert by putting it part over whole. 15 over 60. I know I can simplify by 5. Gives me 3 on top, 12 on the bottom. I know I can go again by 3. 1 on top, 4 on the bottom. Ah, this looks familiar. 1/4. 1/4, I already did the work for that up here. I know that's going to give me 25%. If we look at our percent bar, although it didn't give us the final answer, it did give us close of an answer. I knew that 12 represented 20%. So I wasn't too far off from what my answer was going to be. Okay. All right. Let's look at another one. 80 is what percent of 400? 80 is my part, 400 is my whole. 80 over 400. Okay. Another way I can do is I can make this equivalent. If I have a denominator of 100, then my top number will be my percent. If I can look at this, 400 to 100, I can get to that if I divide by 4. So if I divide the top by 4, I get 80 divided by 4 gives me 20. So this would be 20%. Now, if you didn't realize that you can make it equal to 100, then you would proceed as normal. Both of these end in a 0. So that would simplify to 8 over 40. I know I can simplify by 8, which would give me 1 over 10. Excuse me, not 1 over 10. 8 divided by 8, excuse me, 1 over 5. 1/5, I would do top in, bottom out. I get 0.2, do my Dr. Pepper, 1, 2, fill in my 0, which also gives me my 20%. Okay. Let's do 100, this next one. 450 is what percent of 600? 450 is my part, 600 is my total. 450 divided by 600. They both end in a 0, so I can divide by 10. That gives me 45 over 60. 5 and a 0, that means I'm divisible by 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 60 divided by 5 is 12. I am divisible by 3 now. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that's as simple as I can get that. 3/4, hopefully you know what that is as a decimal, but if you don't, we're going to proceed with Tae Bo. Top in, bottom out. 4 can't go into 3. 4 times 7 will give me 28, with 2 left over. Add a 0, and we get a 5 for the 20. Sorry guys, I ran out of space there. I have 0.75. I use Dr. Pepper, 2 to the right. That gives me 75% as my final answer. Okay. All right, last one. We're going to use that percent bar again. The team had 10 of their 20 players. What percent of the players did they have? 0, 0, 100. 10, I'm going to put over here. 20 is my total. So it's going to go above the 100. I need to figure out what 10 represents as a percent. I do have a pattern here. What can I do to 20 to get to 100? Very good. Times 5. 20 times 5 gives me 100. So I just need to do the same thing over here. 10 times 5 gives me 50. So our answer is 50%. Okay. If you don't like the percent bar, you could have did 10 over 20. Simplified it to 1/2. 1/2 is 50%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these are our notes on how to find the percent. You're going to make your way back to our folder. You're going to do the practice. Remember, you get 2 opportunities to get yourself a good grade on that. And we will review tomorrow in order to take our quiz. See you.